Hey, brother.
Hey, Al.
And welcome everyone back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we are siblings who love true crime.
Yeah, love it.
Yes, we are back this week. Another case. We're going to have a missing persons case this week. Before we get into the case, as always, if you haven't liked, subscribed, followed, all the things, we would so greatly appreciate it. We are Siblings in Crime Pod on just about every platform.
Yep.
So that would be so greatly appreciated from the bottom of our hearts.
Yep. Yeah. We have about 20 subscribers.
21.
21.
Whoop, whoop.
22 on TikTok, I think. And like 76 on Instagram.
So, yeah, we're kind of the big deal right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get those numbers up, that would be awesome. Well, before we get into the case, or actually before we move on, we are calling all people. We can't figure out how to do studio lights. We don't know what to do. We don't know what's best. We would love some nicely stated corrective criticism. Any tips, advice, any suggestions, we would love it all. So if you can comment that, that'd be very helpful as well.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into the case, Blake, how was your week?
My week was good. I flew to Montana.
So pretty.
Yeah, so pretty.
I love it there.
Yeah. And worked on the houses. We have 2 houses almost ready to go. So it's been a lot of work, just all the fine tuning stuff.
I don't think people understand how often you're at Home Depot.
Yeah. And
Lowe's.
Yeah, that's
I'm very
true.
proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As for me, nothing new is going on. I've been in Arizona longer than usual. So I've just been flying and working on this. So nothing.
Come on, give us more. Boring.
I know, super boring. Big fat L in my head. I don't know. I haven't been doing anything exciting. So going into this case, Blake, are you much of a road trip guy?
Yeah, I like road trips. I like them at night.
Why at
Not
night?
during the day very much.
Why?
I don't know. Just feels good to be out and about at night, just listening to music or a podcast with the boys.
Just no one else on the road?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. So that's going to be kind of like the exact situation that we're actually going to get into for this week's case.
Ooh.
So this could be you. Be careful out there. So imagine this. You're driving home from college. Finals are over. Your playlist is queued up, like you said, or your favorite podcast. And your parents are expecting you before sunrise. Just like you, we have another late night driver. The roads are dark but familiar. You've made the trip a dozen times. But this time, you don't arrive. You've vanished without a trace. And no one, not your family, not the cops, not the search teams or tracking dogs, can explain what happened. Just a road, a wreck, and a silence that hasn't lifted in nearly 5 years. And this is the story of Jason Landry. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's roll.
Let's roll.
Kind of unrelated. Do you know why I say let's roll?
No.
This is such a... I don't know if this is going to make it better or worse I say this. I love that phrase. Did you ever see like the audio from like the last voice message of the 9/11 clips? Sounds so bad. So bad, though. The guy, like the people on the 4th plane, like the passengers all got together to like take back over the plane. Mm-hmm. The last thing you hear on the recording, I can't remember his name. It's like Todd or something. Last thing he says, like, all right, let's roll. And then that's all we hear. And we know like how that ended up and they saved from more casualties. But yeah. He was so sick. Anyways.
Hello, my name is Jason Landry. Hello, my name is Jason Landry. Hello, my name is Jason Landry, and I'm currently a sophomore at Texas State. I've been interested in joining the sound recording technology program here since my senior year of high school.
This is Jason Landry. I love this video because it's so relatable when you have to do a video submission and it's just kind of awkward by yourself. You know the type where you have to keep trying over and over.
Yeah.
And
then you're like, why is my eye like squinting? Like,
yeah.
I'm not doing that.
All of a sudden you're like, my voice is horrible. Like you're fumbling your words.
Yeah.
Super relatable. But this is his video introduction to his new music school. And so,
Musical guy.
big musical guy. Jason is passionate about music, studying sound recording technology, and often shares his creations online. I think he's like a SoundCloud kind of guy. I tried to find him, couldn't find him on SoundCloud. I also don't really know how to use SoundCloud, so
Me neither.
that could be a factor. But just like you said, he loved his music. Like how you're saying, you do that at night. It sounds like he was that kind of guy where he just want to drive around at night, listen to his music. Our story today takes place the week before Christmas. We're on December 13th, 2020. Jason Landry, a 21-year-old student at Texas State University, has just wrapped up his finals. He's eager to head home to Missouri City, Texas for the holidays. Around 10:55 p.m., so a late night start, Jason leaves his apartment in San Marcos, embarking on the roughly 3-hour drive home. This isn't like for winter break, though, keep in mind. I guess, according to his family, he was actually just coming down for, like, the day to hang out with his friends. I guess the guys are getting together. He was going to go back and then pack all his stuff and come back home for actual winter break. So he doesn't mind the drive.
Yeah.
He chooses a familiar route, taking Highway 80 through Caldwell County. The night is clear and cold, with temperatures near freezing. The timeline from when Jason left his apartment is clear thanks to the records, and this is how it goes. December 13th, 10:55 p.m., Jason Landry, leaves his apartment in San Marcos, head to Missouri City. 11:05, he's seen driving on Highway 80 and passes under I-35 in San Marcos. 11:07, Landry enters Caldwell County on Highway 80 heading south. 11:11, Landry enters Martindale, still heading south on Highway 80. And at 11:24, Landry enters Luling on Highway 80, or Luling.
So these are just like traffic cameras or
This
like
is
toll roads or something?
this is thanks to his cell phone data. Actually, he was using the Waze navigation app, and so they're able to see like exactly where he was at what time. And so that's what they're looking at right now. At 11:24, his Waze app is turned off, but he begins using Snapchat. He continues on Austin Street, eventually reaching the intersection with US Highway 183, which is actually Magnolia Avenue, where his digital footprint stops. So this is like such a point of conflict at this intersection, and you'll see why. Instead of turning to stay on course toward I-10 like he's done many times in the past, it's believed he continues straight onto East Austin Street, which transitions into Spruce Street, and then Salt Flat Road, which is a rural, unpaved road. Approximately an hour later...
Wait, really fast. Was that turn, so it was like a light or like a stop sign?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or someone jumped in his car.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is that like some sort of intersection with a light where he's supposed to turn right, go back to the freeway. Instead, he goes straight. He ends up on a gravel dirt road.
Yeah.
Approximately an hour later, so it's 12:31 on December 14th, a volunteer firefighter driving home from his shift notices that there is a car that was crashed and abandoned on the block of Salt Flat Road and calls it in.
Hello, how may I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I can let you know. It's Kellen with Southeast. I just come off of 1322 on the Salt Flat Road, and I'm about, I'm going to say 5 or 6 miles off of the highway, and I just come up on a vehicle that's in a ditch, and it appears that it's going to be he hit a fence.
I also always wonder, like, these volunteer firefighters, are they just really great guys volunteering, or they get paid still somehow?
I don't know. I was like, I had the thought to look that up, and I didn't. But I was like, I feel like you hear about, like, volunteer a lot. I'm like,
Yeah, me too.
To what extent? Are you guys just retired and bored?
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like they're probably just good guys.
Maybe they're firefighters that are retired and then just...
want to help out because they're bored.
Yeah, I don't know.
From what they can tell, the rear driver's side corner hit a tree on the east side of the roadway, propelling the front driver's seat into another tree and a barbed wire fence. Many think that maybe he was losing control on a gravel road of some sort. The vehicle's lights were on, the keys were in the ignition, and the front passenger door is locked, but there's no sign of Jason. The firefighter, expecting to be an assistant, like, he sees this crash, he's like, oh, I'm a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah.
I know how to help. He goes and is expecting there to be some sort of injured person, some sort of evidence that someone's in need of help. However, when he gets there, it seemed that the person that was driving just upped and walked away. Even like when he looked a little bit further down the road, things got stranger. Jason's clothes were found scattered in the road, and not just like laid in like a pile.
Like his bag he brought with him or something?
The clothes off his back, it looks like.
Oh, weird.
And on top of that, they're laid out like down the road as if he's taking off articles of clothes as he's walking. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So he's leaving a trail. The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office were notified, but they actually didn't arrive right away. In fact, no officer arrived on the scene for nearly an hour. By the time a deputy showed up, it's around 1:30, and the car had already been idling in the cold darkness for this whole time. And when they did show up, they did nothing to secure the scene. Jason's shirt, shorts, underwear, socks, and slides are all scattered in the road. His backpack with, assumingly, his laptop. He was going to go game with his friends, make some gaming stuff. And actually now a dead betta fish lies along a discarded near barbed wire fence. Didn't we have a betta fish?
Yeah, we've had a bunch.
A bunch of betta fish?
Cool. Yeah.
They can't live together though, right? They eat each other.
Yeah, you have to keep them separate.
That's weird. I barely remember. I remember a goldfish that barely lasted a day.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, I thought we had betta fish. I was unsure. But this just seemed sketchy in my opinion. But the cops chalk it all up to just a drunk driver ditching the scene, even though he had no hard evidence. Instead of running through protocols just in case, kind of treating it like a potential crime scene, it's logged as a simple crash. There was no no photos taken, no forensics teams were called, no perimeters taped off. Deputies don't do an immediate search, and they actually just put all of Jason's stuff in the car and get it towed.
That's not good.
Yeah. And so they're at this point, obviously, they're not testing for fingerprints. They're not doing anything to try and see what could have gone on. The phone woke Kent Landry up at 2 a.m. on December 14th of 2020 with the news that every parent dreads. Highway Patrol had found his son's car wrecked along a gravel road in central Texas, but Jason was nowhere to be found. A former defense attorney turned pastor, the dad, Kent, was stunned by what he found when he drove to the crash site. So he gets up, he leaves immediately. It takes him a few hours to get there, so he's there bright and early. By the time Jason's father, Kent, rushes to Luling later in that morning, the original scene is completely gone. Kent told News Nation that he's been to plenty of crime scenes, and he was expecting the police, he was expecting searchers, but there was literally no one there. Kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
There was no tire tracks, no clear layout of where the items were found, just second-hand accounts and a father trying to reconstruct what happened to his son with barely any help. With Jason's car towed in the impound lot, officers collected some of his belongings, like I said, and left them there. But what they never found or reported finding was Jason's telephone. I don't know why I said it like that. His cell phone. It wasn't until days later that Kent's family, I'm not really, depending on the source, some people said that they remembered that they had Find My Friends and tracked Jason's phone. And other accounts just say that Kent went and personally searched the car.
Yeah.
Either way, it wasn't until Kent, days later, went and searched the car himself that they had discovered Jason's phone had fallen between that driver's side, or the driver's seat in the middle console. Mm-hmm. And that it was down there this whole time, which was missed by investigators. Because, a few days later, they know that they're starting to search, yet they never found the phone until Kent did the work.
Yeah. That's weird. What year is this?
2020.
2020. That's even weirder.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, we didn't even think about that. It's like this is cell phones and cell phone data is a very common thing at this time.
So was it during COVID?
It was right during COVID. We're in December of 2020.
2020. Oh, yeah. So did the officers just I don't know why they wouldn't
Try.
Yeah.
And that's what the family's thinking as well. And so this was a major point of frustration and public criticism, because not only was the scene very mishandled in a lot of people's eyes, but a key piece of potential evidence, like the cell phone, was completely overlooked by actual professionals. After Kent made it to the scene of the crash and took a look around for himself, he ended up filing the missing persons file. But whatever clues like the scene would have given were already gone, and so they're kind of starting from nothing.
That's the weird part too. It's like they didn't take pictures.
They had body cam footage on them, so you can kind of get like a glimpse, but it's not like it was, oh, here's a tire track and here's a weird cloth on a bush, like any details that we could have looked for. On top of
they probably didn't take any fingerprints or check the car for DNA or anything like that either.
Nothing, which is also weird to me. We're going to get into this in a minute. But, like, the car itself looks so suspicious to me. I'll show you a picture and you can explain it. And we're, like, as always now, we're going to be importing audio and pictures and videos and stuff. So hopefully that helps.
Very nice.
Thank you. On top of the family's grief for their missing child, they felt as though the cops were dismissing this as a very serious missing persons case because amongst Jason's belongings, they discovered narcotics. The tone that the investigators set did seem a little belittling, I'd say. Because, like, even in the body cam footage, they're like, oh, a high kid, drunk kid, college kid. Like, they're just kind of, like, scooting it all under the rug. And I'll put in the body cam footage right now.
Got his backpack here, shirt and watch right there, shoes, and right up there is where his shorts and underwear are.
Got a fish or something in that cup.
Yeah, it's dead.
He's completely naked wherever he's at. There's blood on his underwear.
Alright, so we got 27.
White male, college kid.
So it looks like right. Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
That's why I didn't want to leave his back.
That or he's a delivery boy.
He's got a red whistle on his rearview mirror. It's a wonder he didn't get killed. He creamed a tree.
Where's the cart?
So the family feels like they're just kind of dismissing him as another college kid. And rather
he's missing.
Dismissing?
No, he's missing.
Oh, yeah.
That's the hard part.
Exactly.
But would he be like a runaway in their eyes or something?
Yes.
No.
That type of thing. Right. And so rather than using like Jason's nice new college ID photo, investigators had media publish the information about the narcotics along with a screen recorded FaceTime video that Jason's friend had literally taken the night before, which is really interesting. And I'll have it playing. There's not going to have any audio. You know, screen recording, you can't really pick up audio on FaceTime.
Yeah.
So it's a long video. Kind of interesting. But
maybe he accidentally hit it.
Yeah, maybe. Because also,
it's
if you have
2020.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's a weird year.
But also, that's true. He's like, I just want to see my buddy. But also, in the video, there's no audio, so it's not like you're really gonna remember everything you talked about. But regardless, in the video, Jason has like a blunt in his hand and stuff, and so they kind of like highlight that right before he was leaving, he may have been high, and it was just kind of a very overall negative tone. But it is interesting because we kind of see him in action the night he went missing.
Yeah.
On top of the immediate dismissal of the crash being a potential crime, the way the investigators took to the media left Jason's loved ones feeling like they were the only ones that were showing like who Jason really is. Like he is bright, smart, fun, like kind of the life of the party kind of guy. Kent, the dad, he said, it seems to me that they're saying, well, this is just a stupid college kid who does stupid college kid stuff like smoking marijuana. He goes on to say, like, so what? Like, he doesn't need to be found just because he smokes a little marijuana. And so you can kind of see how the family versus the cop, like, a little contentious is starting to play out. The cop kind of, like, gave, like, a little, I don't even know what the right word is, like, a little credit, I guess, maybe, to Jason, saying, like, oh, it's not the worst he could do. Like, it's college.
Yeah. He probably did it.
Yeah, and the cop is like, I know the family's mad at me, but it's like, I feel like you guys puts me on the same team.
Yeah.
So, regardless, with little done from the officials themselves at this point, volunteers were gathered for multiple major searches. But beside everything already found, which was like right at the crime scene, there was nothing. And this is where it starts getting weird. So at this point, it's time for the dogs. We got search dogs. We got horseback. We got drones.
ATVs.
They're pulling in all the reinforcements.
Since when?
Just now. Or like I don't know if this was like, I think it was like community organized, but we're like 6 days in.
Okay.
So it's been a couple days. Just now, I just told you. So the dogs start at the scene of the crime, of course, or the accident, depending on how you look at it. And they actually pick up on Jason's scent. And they follow it all the way down to a pond. The pond, if it's the pond I'm looking at on the maps, it's like a quarter mile away, maybe a half mile away from where the car scene was.
I'm pretty good at
I'm like,
guessing.
this looks right. I did I'll actually show you this picture. And we'll have it up as well of the map. They put out a little graph for the search. So they have like this purple is volunteer parking. They have like the media area, the volunteer staging area. And then the top right, you want to look at that? I put a little X on the only pond I could find. And so this is just me taking a guess. I looked at Google Maps to see if there's any other ponds in the area. That was the one that would make the most sense to me. The dogs were getting led to it. But, I mean, who knows how long he could have been walking. Maybe it was a different pond. And from there, the dogs passed the search off to divers, and the pond was searched with divers. But it led to no success.
So it just the dogs were led to the pond and then lost the scent, or what?
Yep. So
That's
they lost
weird.
the scent at the pond. And so, like, he probably went into the pond. That's the assumption.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
go ahead.
I feel like that always happens. Like dogs get led to water and then they lose the scent.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind, too, this is like freezing temperatures this night. We're in December. Even though Texas is like a warm place, December's going to be cold.
Yeah.
And it seems like odd behavior to be going towards a pond of water unless he like couldn't see and fell in and is confused. Maybe he hit his head.
Yeah.
But
he's not in there.
Right, but we know that divers checked and didn't find anything. And the pond was even drained, actually, still leading to nothing. Yeah, the family is freaking beasts. There's a whole Facebook page that I'll have included, but it's like run by the family to help find Jason, and it's about like the little candlelit vigils. And anyways, they seem like they have such an incredible community like surrounding them. And it seems like everyone in the community is always out searching, even to this day, which is incredible.
Wow.
Right. So let's start off with the first theory that comes up to the headlines, and it's kind of published first of all. And it's pushed by the local officers. So if it's pushed by the local officers, what could you guess it is?
A drug addict ran away to be with his drug friends.
Very specific. I like it. Yeah, that drugs are involved.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jason, like they said, was a college student, and there was speculation that he may have taken something that triggered some sort of paranoia or a psychological break of some sort. And Jason was, like we said, he was like originally on the right route.
Yeah.
And at that intersection, he ended up going down the real dark, barely traveled back road. And so that turn is what actually sparks suspicion, like I said in the beginning, that intersection. So here's what's strange. He was using the Waze navigation app, but he stopped the app right before the wrong turn. Seems weird.
Really?
Right before the turn.
Like how?
Like at the intersection, basically.
Oh.
At 11:24, he's at the intersection. That's when the Waze app is stopped using. That seems weird.
That's weird. Maybe that's when his phone dropped between.
That's what I was thinking. But we also got to keep in mind, we know that he used Snapchat after he turned off the Waze notification. Or the Waze navigation. But I feel like maybe he's like, I'm going to pull up here, grab my phone. Oh, sick. Here's Snapchat. Let me respond to those kind of things first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Drop.
Right. And then car crash or something.
Yeah.
But some speculate that this wasn't a mistake and it was intentional that he turned it off at that intersection. The theory goes like this. Jason may have been...
Theory number 2?
No, this is still the same theory.
Oh.
So the theory goes like this. Jason may have detoured to meet someone, possibly by marijuana, psychedelics, or any other substance. Salt Flat Road, where he was found, is rural, quiet, and actually known for like being a late night hangout, drug kind of place. If he met someone out there, the encounter could have gone sideways, either through an accident, foul play, or someone taking advantage of his vulnerability. So that's one theory. Like, was he meeting someone, whether it be for drugs or not? It looks like he intentionally pulled off on the wrong road.
Yeah.
That's one theory. Some online theorists speculate that he was lured to the location, maybe through Snapchat or text, with the intent to make this deal. But no communications like that have been made public, and his phone, once found, didn't contain any traceable last messages confirmed for a meetup. Though, again, it wasn't found till days later from his dad. And like you said, I originally thought he probably dropped his phone right then, and then he got lost. But with Snapchat opening right after, there's no messages on Snapchat. We know Snapchat just like deletes everything. So there's no messages on Snapchat that have been at least public that he was messaging anyone right before the accident. But
He just opened it just to open it?
I mean, he may have used
See
it.
if anyone snapped him.
Yeah, something like that. There's evidence he was using the app right up until the crash, possibly even seconds before. Hence why I was like, well, maybe he was on it and that's what caused a car crash.
Yeah.
Like he's on a gravel road, can lose control or some sort. But like I said, authorities won't confirm if any messages were sent or received. And no one has come forward saying that they were talking to him at that moment. And so we really don't know if that theory has any validity. Oh my gosh. What is the word? Validity. His family, especially his father Kent, who's been really the most vocal through it all, has publicly rejected the idea that Jason was involved in any dangerous drug activity, saying it doesn't fit with his personality or habits. But still, the timing of the turn, the abandoned location, and the sudden switch off ways have led some to believe he may have gone there deliberately. With the lack of obvious foul play or injury, this is the most favored theory according to police. They think that he just kind of got up and left, like you were saying, maybe like a runaway more. That's what the cops are thinking. And actually, let me show you the car while I'm thinking about it. So there was no evidence of blood at the scene of the crime, no airbags and stuff like that. However, the back of the car is like completely busted. If you zoom in, like the back windshield is completely blown out. And it's surprising to me that the back windshield be completely blown out. You don't have airbags. There's no sign that he was injured within the car. And so it's kind of shocking. It looks like pretty good damage.
Mm-hmm. He ran to what again?
They think that I guess this part kind of makes sense. They think like his rear tires like hit a tree. Like he was like swerving, hit it, and it caused him to like flick the other direction. Ended up running into another tree and a fence. But it just seems like, I mean, maybe if it's like sideways shatter, it just seems weird looking to me.
Yeah, it seems like someone hit him from behind.
Yeah, because like the bumper is messed
ran him
up.
off of the road or something.
Right, and so that kind of goes into what the next theory is. As always, people begin to kind of talk amongst themselves, like what could have happened. And one question always stood out is like, what if Jason didn't walk away on his own? What if someone picked him up? And this is like, I was looking at some of the websites that were talking about his missing persons case. And this comment stood out to me. It's just a random person on a social media platform. But if you want to read that, I was like, we know that, or at least we know that detectives say that it was a single person car accident just from like running off the road. There wasn't evidence that they got hit, I guess, or some sort. And this comment stood out to me. So like, that totally makes sense that can happen. So do you want to read it?
Yep. This is from
Wait, don't tell them who. This is just in case. I mean, what if someone doesn't want us to read their comment?
True. My husband and I drove on a country road in a small town in Arizona. We were ran off the road by someone that said we shouldn't be there. We were looking for the entrance to an off-roading trail, and there were no signs saying we couldn't pass through. He ran us off the road in a way that his car didn't make contact with us. We weren't able to leave until he allowed us to. We didn't have a weapon on us, and he did. The fact that this kid left his car or his cell in the car is very suspicious to me. If he was walking back, he would have took it. Seems to me that someone may have forced him out.
Yeah, I mean, most kids keep their phones on them. And they're like, that's kind of weird. If he just got up and walked away, why wouldn't he have brought his phone, first of all? And this person has a good point. Like, you can get run off the road without getting just slammed. Mm-hmm. And if someone had a weapon, someone kind of lured him away.
Where'd he go, though?
That's the thing.
That person probably took him then.
That's what we're saying is like, because there's no evidence of where he would have disappeared to, they're like, okay, so did he get into another car?
But is there any tire tracks? That's what people are probably saying too.
That's exactly what people are saying. In fact, they say that it's remote, but it's not deserted. Like, oil trucks are passing through, locals drive through it at night. Like, it's not uncommon for cars to be around there. But there were no tire tracks noted at the scene and no eyewitnesses. But then again, the scene wasn't properly preserved. And so, to me, I'm like, how do you know, like, there was no other tire tracks? But the people are going through in and out enough times where there's probably tire tracks, but none that look like they were suspiciously close to him, or I don't know.
Or like swerving or something.
Yeah, that seems suspicious, maybe. I'm not sure. But just like you said, like, they don't think that another car was there because of the lack of tire imprints. If it was an accident, it was a perfect one. And if it was abduction, it was fast. Even the most blaring questions continue to go unanswered. Like, why did Jason leave the road in the first place? And why did he take off all his clothes?
That's what I keep thinking. I'm like, his clothes are scattered everywhere. Did they just like throw it, or is it like spaced out where he's like walking?
It looks like it was as if he was walking, like in a line, is what they say.
So that'd be weird if someone kidnapped him.
I think so too. Have you ever heard of the term paradoxical undressing?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you want to describe it?
I can describe the best that I know. When you have hypothermia, you get super hot. Basically, you take off all your clothes.
Yeah. Nice. That's exactly it. That's
he was in his car.
Well, what if he got confused? He got in a car accident. But we know it was below freezing that night. And we know that behavior is not uncommon for like the final stages of hypothermia.
But he probably would need to be outside for a long time.
That's what I was thinking too, because the volunteer firefighter came like within the hour. Mm-hmm. So like we know he crashed on 11:30. We know the firemen reported it about 12:30, and below freezing temperatures is still not like negative 20 degrees. This is like 30 degrees, which you would think that would not kick in until like much longer. Yeah. Or if he was like wet, like if he got in the pond, maybe that would make it faster.
Speed it up.
Right. Thanks. Like, that's what another theory is though, because why else would he have taken off his clothes? If he got crashed, he got disoriented, maybe wander around the darkness. It's possible, I guess, that hypothermia set in. Maybe he was trying to find help. Maybe he just panicked, was in a mental fog. But even that theory still raises more questions than answers. Yeah. Like, even then, where did he go? Okay.
That's my thing. Is like he would have probably fallen asleep somewhere.
Exactly. And then there's the local theory. This one is weird. What do you know about wild hogs?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a random thing. Tell me.
They run wild in Texas, and they destroy a lot of farmers' crops and just eat everything. And so they have people that like pay money to go in helicopters and just like shoot them all.
They're crazy. Wild hog hunting. Yeah, wild hogs are vicious. It sounds like they usually are more like or not like more defensive. Like they're not going to attack you unless you're getting attacked, unless they're like hungry or feel like they're threatened. It's like maybe they have to be provoked. But like you said, in rural Texas, it's like home to the largest populations of the wild hogs. Yeah. They're aggressive and really fast too. Yeah.
Me and Dad were going to go.
What?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Dad wanted to do that.
I didn't know that. We should go.
It's a lot of money.
That would be so scary, I feel like. And they're
in a helicopter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, you shoot from the helicopter?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
I can see that being a lot of money now. That'd be cool. I never thought about doing that before. They're not necessarily known to like attack and eat humans, but they have attacked humans before. And That is one thing that has been brought up multiple times. Some believe that if Jason was confused and undressed and alone in a field, he could have been attacked and dragged into a bush or a water source by literally a wild hog, leaving little behind.
What about blood?
Exactly. There's no blood though, and so like if that happened, it would have been in such a place that hasn't been searched. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's a disturbing idea, but it's not completely unheard of, I guess, in these parts. But it's hard for me to believe that after massive searches are going out, that they didn't see like a little ounce of blood in a bush.
Mm-hmm. Or hoof marks.
Yeah, that's a good point. No one ever brought up the hoof marks.
Yeah.
You're thinking. No theory explains everything, but what is clear is that Jason Landry didn't just vanish, despite theories even being aliens came down and zapped him up into outer space.
That's starting to sound like the most liable.
The most likely?
Yeah.
Honestly, not surprised. Like the conspiracies go crazy around this case because of how weird the circumstances are.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it really does look like he was just picked up and dropped somewhere else, people were like, maybe.
Yeah.
Desperate for answers, Jason's family pushed for a geofence warrant. Do you know what a geofence warrant is? You're 2 for 2 right now.
Geofence warrant? No, I don't. Dang it.
Dang it. Okay, 2 and 1. A geofence warrant is basically like, you'll recognize it when I talk about it. It's a legal request to identify all mobile devices that were active near, usually like a crash site or some critical time window. And so they hope that this would reveal if anyone else was nearby, perhaps someone that could have picked him up, like in a car, which would make the most sense because he just got up and left. I
didn't know they could do that.
Yeah.
I've heard of geofencing for like marketing, but not geo warrant.
A geofence warrant?
Yeah.
They just needed the warrant for the geofencing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically you can like take a section of area and see like if there was any phones pinging, if there's anything in the area indicating that through cellular data and stuff, if anyone was in the area, which is really
That'd be
cool.
Smart.
Yeah, really cool. And initially, this was kind of weird. Initially, local authorities weren't on board.
It's probably privacy stuff they have to worry about.
Maybe.
But sounds sketchy.
But you think that the community is like, yeah, anything to find this kid, unless you're really a sketchy person, then let's catch that guy.
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of conspiracy theory things lately, and
maybe we'll do a conspiracy sometime.
Yeah,
they're fun.
We have to have our allegedly stuff going on.
Oh
with that.
yeah, you love that word. You can throw it out any chance you want when we do a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they weren't really on board. Maybe privacy, but after persistent advocacy.
Yep.
That feels like a weird word right now.
No, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
From the Landry family and their private investigators, the Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit approved and obtained the warrant. The results, according to the Attorney General's office, the geofence search yielded no activity near the crash site and did not provide any additional information.
Wow, that's weird.
Heartbreaking.
So, what about his phone? Was that one pinging?
No one's. So the phone, one thought the phone, at least his own phone, they're like, okay, that should have had like some sort of activity. Nothing. So whatever happened So whatever happened on Salt Flat Road, Jason didn't have any digital trace as to what happened, and evidently there was no digital trace in the whole surrounding area that anyone was near him at the time of his accident.
Jeez.
So even then, aliens are looking more likely at this point.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. Days turned into weeks, and the search efforts around Luling continue, but they grow quieter, as you can imagine. The helicopters are now gone, search dogs are gone, national headlines fade, but he's still missing, and his family doesn't go home.
They want everyone to know who they are.
Yeah, and the whole community does, and it's cool to have them all rally around him. Kent and Lisa Landry set up a camp in town. They knock on doors, hang new flyers, they re-rock the route, talk to reporters. They literally talk to anyone. They're doing everything they can, assuming that someone has to know something, right? They just believe that in their soul. In an attempt to pull any tips from anyone, Kent and Lisa take to the news with this message.
I don't know who you are, and I don't really care. All I care about is my son. And we want to know what happened. And we want to know where he is. And if you know that, you need to come forward. We set up an anonymous line. I don't care who you are. I am not in. I don't care about retribution or revenge. What I care about is my son. This has had to be laying on your heart and been eating you up from inside. And if you've known this piece of information for this entire time, it's had to be gnawing from inside. So I'm just asking you to let it out. Make one phone call. Let us know where our boy is.
It's horrible to think that something's happened to him and we can't find him. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he's going through right now. I mean, it's just horrible. We know wherever he is, God is with him.
That video is so heart-wrenching. I can't imagine the pain of just the unknown, especially in such a case that doesn't even lead you guessing in one direction. Law enforcement gives updates, but they're sparse and vague. The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office claims they followed up on all leads, that there's no sign of foul play, and that they still believe that Jason must have just walked up and left into the night on his own. But that doesn't explain the scene. It doesn't explain the phone. It doesn't explain the absence of literally everything. And in February 2021, the Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit joins the investigation. At first, it was like a small wave of hope. You have more people on board, more people looking. Maybe with new eyes, new tools, there will be progress.
People skilled in cold cases,
Yeah.
missing people.
Especially with like the family kind of having contention with like the local officers.
Yeah, they're like, thank goodness someone knew.
But the weeks drag on. Volunteers from their own search groups, private investigators hired, cadaver dogs returned in the spring, and a large-scale search in May of 2021 covers even more ground. Fields, brush, oil pits even that were within range, and surrounding barns are all cleared with nothing.
Dang.
And the only thing
Maybe the officers did something.
That'd be sketchy, actually.
Yeah.
Has anyone looked that one up yet? New theories.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing more painful than not having answers is not being able to stop searching for them. Jason's face still lives on missing person sites, social media pages, and prayer vigils, but there are no new clues even to this day. No new leads, just a single stretch of Texas dirt road where a college kid vanished, and a family that refuses to stop looking. He says he'll keep searching until he, being Kent, says he'll keep searching until there's an answer, because Jason isn't just missing, he's still very loved.
Yeah.
So if you or anyone you know have any information, they say to please contact the Caldwell County Sheriff at 341-783-8340. And this is the case of Jason Landry.
Dang. That's sad.
So sad.
Just
5
like
years
never
later,
know anything.
I always wonder that. Knowing that someone passed away is so sad, obviously. But not knowing anything, it's got to just keep you up at night way worse.
Yeah. Like, did I search this spot?
Right. And now you have me wondering if anyone's really delving into the whole bad cops theory.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything about that. But, I mean, they were an hour late after the call.
Mm-hmm.
Suspicious.
Yeah. There's one of the conspiracy things I was listening to was about the two boys who died on the railroad tracks. That one's crazy.
That one is crazy.
You listen to the whole thing?
I've heard that case before, but I think I finished it. If not, it's like I'm at the very end.
Yeah. I've heard it multiple times from different things. And
I think the one that you just sent me, though, was the most detailed I've seen.
Yeah,
of all
same.
those. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So you never know who's good and who's bad. Watch your back.
Yeah.
Do you have any...
But hopefully always good cops.
Yeah, majority, I'm sure, are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any not-so-fun facts?
All right. You ready? Mm-hmm. Do you want trivia or do you want facts?
Give me a trivia. I think it's more fun.
All right. How many people are reported missing each year?
Oh, I feel like we've done this one.
5,000.
Oh, that'd be way more.
100,000.
Yeah, in that case.
500,000 or 400,000.
400,000.
500,000.
500,000?
Yeah.
I feel like we might have done one like that before, because we're like, what if, missing people, sometimes they show up like the next day.
Yeah. I'm getting there.
But that is a ton.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's crazy.
This is just a fact. 1 in 7 runaways are likely victim of sex trafficking.
Dang, that's a higher percentage than I was thinking.
Yeah. And then most missing person cases involve children and teens.
That makes sense.
And then 40% of missing adults have mental health issues.
Sad.
And then, like you said, most people reported missing are found within 24 hours to 72 hours. So it's good that they're found, but sometimes I feel like that hurts people that are actually missing.
And you got to keep in mind, I don't think anywhere is still rule they have to wait 24 hours to file a missing person.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is why they always say that, is because most of the time they come back.
Yeah.
But it's always the time they don't that they wish you started sooner.
Yeah. All right. How many unidentified bodies are recovered each year in the U.S.?
Oh gosh, I feel like you want to give me some numbers, or am I just ballparking?
Yeah. Give you some numbers. 32, 175, 1,000, 4,000.
32 and 175 are awfully specific compared.
I was trying to make it dramatically different.
175.
No.
3,000.
So that was creepy to laugh at. 4,000.
4,000?
Yeah.
I didn't think that many people were just out and about. I would think that.
Unidentified bodies?
Yeah.
I know. It's scary.
That is really creepy. I don't like that one.
Yeah. And then the last one is only a small percentage of cases involve stranger abductions. So that's kind of comforting a little bit. The sad part is a lot of them. No. The sad part is a lot of it's like
even creepier. It's
one
your family
parent
member.
like abducting your kids
Right.
and trying to get away because of issues going on and stuff.
I felt always so sad when kids take the beating of parental issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like every time you hear like a kid getting stolen, it's by like the deranged other parent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So sad. It is nice to know that a smaller percentage is random, but those are the hardest ones. Where to even start looking? That's so heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that was our missing persons case this week, and so keep the Landry family in your prayers. They're still looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for tuning in this week for Siblings in Crime. We'll be back next week with another.
Bye.